Hey guys, Tomboy601, and today we're taking out the breast and pairing it with the new anime commander because, well, haha, named funny. No, but really, Kurumi Sarika came out. She is sort of tailor made for these super cruisers. Wanted to take her out and try it out, but before we dive into that, just want you to let me know down in the comments below. Who do you think is at fault for this little section right here? You know, just wondering because this goes on for way too long, and when you're in a situation like this, who should be yielding? The one trying to go out to the flank, or the one who's going to sit at the center of the map who doesn't need the speed in order to get to their desired play position for the next couple minutes? Let me know. Also, yesterday, a small channel milestone was reached, 19,000 subscribers. I got a little inspiration, so I went out and designed a new piece of merch. If you're unaware, I do sell merch. I do try to make it so that it is not blatantly obvious that it is YouTuber merch, that it's a fun design of some sort. And today, well, I know how many of you guys are whales, so we have a whale collection with our little top hat. Man, cool, great. One last thing, if you like videos like this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And now with all of that out of the way and us nearly done with our slow motion collision, let's go ahead and talk about Kurumi Sarika. And I have to say, I will say she's tailor-made for these ships, but also she's not, after looking, I don't think she's too overpowered overall, because she does sort of fit into the archetype of Le Monnier. So let's go over her traits and we'll compare it to Le Monnier. So we have Out of My Way as her base trait. It's going to give you better main battery reload time. Awesome. And better main battery dispersion. Super great. Then we have Reaching Out XXL, Punch Through, then her unique skill, which is called Focused Fire, and this is what kind of makes it very much tailor-made for these super cruisers. You get a large reduction in your dispersion when your main battery reload is active, and of course, that's really beneficial because these ships, while they have decent accuracy, the one thing that was absolutely the worst was when you would roll a terrible accuracy while you're using your one main battery reload, or one of your few main battery reload charges. So this makes the main battery reload feel just that much better. You also then get fixated and fully packed. And when you compare that up against Le Monnier, like, they are both surprisingly compelling. What pushes it over the edge for Sarika is just the fact that in that second row, there is a usable sort of skill. If Le Monnier had a more usable skill in that second slot, it would be a general toss-up, I think, between the two of these vessels, because, you know, this ship is about coming out to these flanks. It's about using the very good ski concealment of this ship, getting into a spot where the enemies don't expect a ship to be, finding a broadside enemy, and then just opening up with two quick salvos. And you're going to see what that sort of does to this Carnot right here, where we get one off there. Then we're going to get a second one right here, where we picked up two Citadels as we were kind of crossing this gap right here. And you can just see the extra the extra dispersion, or the lack of dispersion, I guess, in that Carnot. Those shells tightly packed together, and we get off our third and final shot. And within, what, a minute and 30 seconds, that Carnot is now gone and off the map. Of course, we did get a little bit of assist on the back end there, but that is the play style of these French supercruisers. And Le Monnier, his base trait helps with that immensely. You're going to see his base trait would have actually benefited us a lot in this game, because what his base trait does is it reduces the amount of time you're lit up after you fire your main battery. So that detection radius retracts quicker with him, where when you have him fully maxed out, you are going to remain spotted after firing your main gun for only 15 seconds as opposed to 20 seconds. And that can be really, really useful, especially when you're in a stealthy ship like the Brest. So, speaking of that stealth, we are going to come around the corner here and continue to use it. Even though there is only one destroyer on each side, we do kind of have to provide spotting for our team. So, that's exactly what we're going to do because that one Shimakaze, well, he was causing fear for our team, but I guess he's all nice and handled now. We can see Alaska is being spotted, so we don't have to spot him anymore, but we're going to hold our fire. And the reason we're doing that is we want to get the best angle to engage this Alaska at, right? We want to force him into a 90-degree angle of choice in order to choose who he wants to angle at. He has the option, and what he's doing right now is angling against the majority of our team. By letting him know we are over here now, we have access to his broadside, we're now going to force the decision in his head. Is he going to open up to the rest of our team and the 4 or 5 sets of guns that are waiting for him to be engaged over there? Or is he going to continue to let us have a broadside? And the choice, apparently, is to let us have the broadside, or to let the team have the broadside, or I guess now us. His play is weird, is what I'm trying to say, as he is being very much effectively handled by our team. He goes down. Yoshino, we are kind of going to try to force into the same situation. Of course, Yoshino, a bit tougher of a cookie, and I just have to say, watch this shot, and I thought, oh, it is the most beautiful, like we're about to eliminate, and everything goes high. You've heard of shells fall short. Well, I introduced to you shells go high. But Yoshino is an interesting one just because its strength is to be in a kiting position. So he's naturally going to want to turn out, which is going to make this a bit difficult because for us to engage into a kiting cruiser is a bit rough. We only have 330 millimeter guns, which I know it sounds like a big number, but for the tier, the 330s do struggle because they don't really have the overmatch ability. You need to be hitting ships when they are perfectly perpendicular, and you need to not be hitting heavy armor, because you will see a little bit later, if we start hitting heavier armor, our shells will just go shatter. As that Yoshino, he gone. He's no longer there. That's okay. We're using the last bit of our speed boost to try to get position on this Bourgogne. We can see he's sort of pushing out into this middle section. And just like before, we just want to make it so that he has a 90-degree choice between angling on us or angling with the rest of our team. We're trying to find the little gap that we can shoot through. It's kind of hard, but we can tell he's slowing down. So if we can get some of these shells to go through, we should be able to get a decent hit. And as you can see there, one shatter, one ricochet, and one overpen, and that's what happens when we start hitting the heavier armor of some of these battleships, and why we need to start being a little more cautious as far as what we are putting out and where we can hit. So we're going to start trying to aim up for that nose, because the nose armor should be a bit thinner, and as it's a bit thinner, we should be able to basically get full pens out of the nose. And we can see it's relatively undamaged because it still has a pretty good amount of paint up there. As we let our shells out, and one barrel goes through the rocks, the other barrel goes through. Unfortunately, we do overpen there. It's okay. It is 4v1 on this Bourgogne. He is not doing well, but there is also a larger problem for us. The enemy team has made a breakthrough and is now entering our cap. Our destroyer is up by their cap, and you're going to see me kind of be like, hey, destroyer, they're starting to stop our points. Do you want to respond in kind? And you'll see he does not do that. Instead, he goes after the conga line of battleships. And I will say, you'll see the play he makes, and I'll admit when I'm wrong. He'll end up lining up a pretty good torp strike overall. But as this kind of develops, we know our role. We want to get to those crossfires. You can see the majority of our team is going around this side of the island. And if we can get to the edge of this island, that means we will be able to get some crossfires on these guys. We do have one of our reloads left. And we should be able to start pumping shells into these 4 battleships that are currently in or near the capture point. And at this point, it's one of those things where we are going to just set this up as it's going to be whoever can kill each other the most, because clearly no one's going for the caps. As we get our first shot off on this Delaware here, pop the reload booster, and decent chunk right there. And let's see if we can get another chunk, as he is still broadside to us, which we will happily take. We'll get another chunk right here. Absolutely. And this is what the supercruisers do, right? This is what we want to be doing in these supercruisers. We find the broadsides, we use our concealment to get into these places, even though we use the island for the concealment. And we use our health to be able to take these little bit of big shots, even though we're not the most well armored. And as we can see, this Delaware, the green Delaware, he's sort of angled to us now. But now the white Delaware has gone ahead and said, you know what? Broadside to the breast won't be a bad idea. And we'll go ahead and take a Citadel and another huge chunk of his damage. You can see the torpedoes from our teammate coming in as torpedoes from the Delaware coming to us. And at this moment, I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't think they had any destroyers. I totally forgot about about the Delaware and the whole, being able to drop planes. And you can see that destroyer picked up a kill and pretty heavily damaged this Delaware, and pretty much with one rack of torpedoes or one full torpedo strike, pretty much finished off that enemy team for us, or at least delivered a debilitating blow to them. And after that, it's just going to be this GK, and well, we're all going to go ahead and charge them. And I guess as we get to the end of this video, I'll say, the French supercruisers, I think, now that they're not the new ships in town, now that there are some other ships that are around that like being bow in, like these new American hybrid battleships. When you get the maps right, when you get that side spawn, they are absolutely fun. And even if you don't go out there and buy the new commander, the free one is totally viable. Anyways, guys, let's see where we end up on the scoreboard. And well, second best ain't too bad, but more importantly, we're ahead of the person who T-boned us. Anyways, guys, if you like videos like this, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, do all that jazz, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.